YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host TKK and we are back with another video, guys. It's been a great last couple of days off. I took the last few days off from creating content and uploading content because I was actually making content. The irony of that is that I have been stuck in my bedroom, and if you guys have not been following the channel in chronological order, the content is created and posted. The Sony A95K is what I've coined the A95K, has been in my bedroom, and I have been just in awe and marveling that television. I've also been utilizing the Samsung S95B because I also have it in the bedroom too. And I don't have them next to each other to create content that is trending or to compare, but it's a real life setup. So the next video is going to be about that. But the Sony Alpha 95K is in its lowest price in 30 days. Yes, it has got a hack by way of the 65 class, has been reduced $500. TV retails for $4,000 is marked right now from major retailers that I've seen online to $3,500. That's $3,499 to be specific. That is a great thing, guys. Listen, there's a lot of margin in the technology, and it's a newer TV, and it is the better, in my opinion, out of the two, from a picture quality presentation, from a quality of build, from a level of prestige. It's the better TV out of the two quantum dots, me being an earlier adopter of both of them. Listen, guys, I bought these TVs not to review, not to compare, but because I wanted these TVs. I had a great use case for both of them, and so I have thoroughly enjoyed them. But I thought that it would be interesting for me to cap this video off with telling you guys that thing is cheaper. So today is Monday. We're going to get right to the content in the comments right after this intro. As I said, welcome back to the channel, guys. Monday is a day that I like to really spend time reading some of the comments that you guys have left. Anything that's disrespectful or that seems like it's argumentative, out of way of us trying to gain an understanding, I try to avoid altogether, but I do at least try to heart and like each comment that is left on my channel, especially, like I said, when it's coming from a place of respect and brotherhood, sisterhood, whatever. But yeah, so the first comment read tonight is going to be by Mr. Nick Hernandez. He said, the first OLED I bought was an LG C1 77-inch thanks to watching your channel and others. He said, I still love it after 8 months of gaming with my Xbox Series X. He said, there's nothing like playing Battlefield on a 77 class screen, and I've got it hooked up to my Sonos Arc soundbar, the Gen 3 subwoofer, and the SL surrounds. He says, it's all in my bedroom and I love it. Games have never looked so good. Thanks for your advice, Nick. Nick, at this point in time of me looking back at the screenshot I took from your comment that was left some days ago, you've got 4 thumb ups. I have hearted it. I have thumbed it up. I appreciate you for sharing your passion for what you have done and for supporting the channel. Also for utilizing the channel in the way that it's intended for real-time use. What I want to say is, first, congrats on getting the 77C1. It's a hard to find TV right now. I haven't seen any retailers really with it anymore. It seems to be 65 is like the last of, you know, the options that you can get with the C1. At this point, the C2 has come down in cost so much that it's very comparable. 65 class C1 being about $1,600 retail, whereas to the C2 is just about $500 more at about $2,000. So it's the better buy now to get the C2 if you can afford it. However, 8 months ago was a great time to get the C1. It wasn't too far off from when I was making videos. In fact, I had purchased my 77 C1 last year, and earlier this year, February, about 8 months ago, I had got the 248 class C1. So it's a great TV all around. The 77 panel is phenomenal. Now, for you to have that in a bedroom with the Sonos Arc, the Gen 3 subwoofer in the rears, amazing, bro. You know, if you follow the content on the channel, as I said in the first transition in the video before the intro rolled, I got the Alpha 95K 65 in my bedroom with the 5000 Sony soundbar and its comparable S3 subwoofer in the rears that are 3 class. And it's been amazing. I can only imagine what that thing sounds like, because I think the Arc is probably going to be up there with like their 7000 bar. I'm not really sure. I don't follow the soundbar technologies as much, but amazing setup, man. I wish I could hear it, but you keep on rocking, and I appreciate your support. On to the next comment. All right, this next content is going to add a little bit of context to this person's opinion in this conversation about Sony. I hate to really ticket this video as a Sony video, but you know, the fact that the price drop is really amazing. So this kind of speaks in context to the new price of the TV. So this is by Jack D. Jack D said, 4 HDMI 2.1 ports should be 100% standard when purchasing such a high-end TV. He said, if I have a PS5, Xbox Series X, Atmos soundbar, then that's already 2 or 3 HDMI 2.1s needed. He said, I'm not rearranging ports. He said, it's absolutely an insane suggestion to have to plug and unplug. He said, nor should I have to buy a switcher when I've already purchased a $4,000 TV like the A95K, which is now $3,500. He said, nobody should be making excuses for these corporations. They need the feedback. Great. And I did comment, well said, brother. And I did heart and thumb up the video because I appreciate the realistic feedback. I want to keep that going on the channel for all people. Just keep it real, keep it respectful, but keep it 100%. I do agree. The 4 ports definitely should be a standard. I think that's the most realistic and the biggest argument that people have had. Now, keeping in mind, Sony, like Panasonic, which Panasonic is slated to have the most high quality OLED, non-quantum dot OLED in the world right now. That's what HDTV Test is saying from this Panasonic TV that he just got his hands on. I believe that they do similarly have the same type of chipset that the Sony has, in which now you have the most respected from a visual perspective quantum dot OLED and the most respected from a visual perspective WOLED TVs. They both have only 2 HDMI 2.1. So it is technically the standard that the highest quality looking TVs are limited to that. Not that I'm personally needing to make any excuse. The C2, which I'm in front of as I'm filming this right now, is my personal favorite TV. Having owned both of the 2 quantum dot OLEDs of 2022, I still feel like the C2 is my personal favorite TV. It's my go-to driver, my main, if you would. And then the C1 is also my movie room TV. And so I personally wouldn't make any excuses. And I do believe that these guys need feedback. I just, after doing some research, think that it's a deeper issue that probably won't be addressed into next year. Now on to the piece of what a TV should cost, what we should be spending. I don't like, whenever I hear those comments, like, I respect them, but I don't know how long you may have purchased a TV that was of this caliber. Again, I still have an EF9500. That was the 2015 flat first 4K OLED. That TV was $7,000. 5 and 2, brother, $7,000. TV was the first to have 4K flat OLED and HDR through an HDMI port. I will say that the EG9600, again, another $7,000 TV, the year prior was the Curve. It didn't even have HDR through HDMI ports, which is why the EF9500 was a better driver. If you had Blu-ray content, which was the best way to watch 4K, you could not get high dynamic range through HDMI on the EG9600. So we've come so far. We've come so far in a time where we're buying these types of technology and they're becoming cheaper. So the notion of it's 4,000, it should have this, is ridiculous. Keeping in mind that the Sony Alpha 90 Jasper of last year was $4,000 also. Did not come out the gate with HDMI 2.1 or variable refresh rate active, but it is still held as one of the top 10 OLEDs in picture qualities by many enthusiasts alike. I do appreciate your comment, Jack D. On to the next one. All right, this next comment is by Mr. Aaron Gormley. He said, I've had my C2 for 1 month exactly and have 567 hours, but it's in my room and it runs all night, every night. So yeah, I mean, listen, the thing is, depending on the content that you run on some of these TVs, they'll completely black screen, which they're totally fine if they're doing that. So yeah, you can, I'm going to say cheat and get a ton of run hours. He left this on my 12,000 run hours. My run time was real time. Like the time that I got on my TV is real utilization. Obviously there's give and take sometimes where there's like the TV doing some updates, things like that. And now I actually, since LG last year implemented the update where they actually gave you, where you could use the gallery mode, where the artwork mode, not gallery, but the artwork mode. And you can hit the red button on the remote. This this button to be specific. You could hit that button and it would actually turn off the no signal indicator, right? That notice, that static image that was there. They updated the C9 last year to have that feature. My TV has gotten more runtime because at the time when I had it positioned where it was, I thought it was a nice just piece of furniture at that point. That might sound crazy to some, but yeah, the bulk of the 12,000 hours that I had was realistic runtime. But these TVs are built really well, man. I love the fact that, you know, we can look in and we can actually see how long they've been running. Just like a computer, you can see how long your processor's been ran. Just like a car, you can see the mileage on the engine. Of course, unless you do something shady, run it back, or, you know, just kind of like reset that. It is good. So I'm hoping that you're enjoying your C2, and I appreciate your comment. Okay, as of right now, 5 hours ago, Carl Creed left a comment saying, nice video, man. I pulled out of getting the LG C2 in favor of the Alpha 90K. We're talking about the small master class of 2022. I did a review on that. If you haven't checked it out, do so. I still love that TV. It's an amazing TV. Best looking 48, 42. I imagine if the 42 is anything like the 48, which it looks to be, it's the best looking panel that you can get. Doesn't matter what Asus or anybody else has going on. That TV is masterful. He said, I can't stand the LG's remote controls. Why don't they make it look premium? And I actually did comment to you specifically. I will leave another comment letting you know that I've just replied on video to this. And so in your comment, I actually said that I personally like this remote. You know, the remote that they start utilizing that does give you, like, you know, the newer icons for Disney and such. This remote to me is designed really well. The older OLED remotes or LG remotes, I'm just going to say OLED remotes, but because I've never bought the LED LGs, but I know they have similar remotes. You know, they were more fat, and I just didn't like the design of those. There was a ton of latency, it felt like, too. This remote, in my opinion, feels extremely responsive. And this has been since, like, you know, the last 4 or 5 years have been pretty decent in my opinion. But I definitely love what they've done now since, like, you know, the CX, the C9, I mean, the C1, CX, C1, C2, obviously. Great remote, great design in my opinion. Doesn't feel as premium as the Sony, I would tell you that. Sony's definitely winning. I also like what Samsung did by way of implementing internal battery that could be charged via USB-C. I like that. I really do like that. I think it has some type of solar functionality too. I'm not sure. Not that I really need to utilize that, but I love their remote too. It feels good, right? Feels good. The operating system just sucks on the Samsung, but not really what I'm trying to get to. The Sony definitely is winning. The backlist system and then the way the remote feels is great. But I do personally like this remote that LG has produced. So fortunately you don't. I definitely do. I just wanted to make sure I got your comment on video. Thanks. All right, so this one's going to have a little bit of length to it, and I actually really appreciate talking to this person a lot. This YouTube account is called Bill's Channel. He responded to another a regular you know, comment leaver by the name of Antique Legend, right? So Bill had a lot to say, so this is going to have some depth to it, okay? Bear with me. Let me make sure that I've got this pulled up for you guys. All right, so Bill went into his comments saying, I had a lot of excitement when I heard that LG had NVIDIA G-Sync on the cardboard box and actual hardware in the TV. He said at that time, the only large display that had it was NVIDIA's BFG, which was $5,000. Of course, the LG wasn't cheap, but it wasn't $5,000. This is true because C9 came out, it was $3,400 to be specific, in 65 class. I covered that in my most recent videos as I did get it junked out, and that's how I got my Alpha 95K for $2,400, which now I'm going to get even more money back, $500 back extra. So it's really good. $1,900 is what I paid for my Alpha 95K, but digress. He said, I had hoped that this would mean an industry-wide rollout, but sadly that wasn't the case. And with the competing AMD technology, I don't know what we will see happen, or when we will see that happen. He said, I love the Samsung Microsoft deals as they bring a lot of nice features to each other's equipment, but there is also exclusive stuff going on there that it is super annoying. He said, it's understandable because each side is building technology and you can't expect, say, Samsung to build features to make Google Pixel more of a reach piece of technology or company. He said, you know, he went on to say that, you know, some other technologies you need to come by way of HDMI standard, kind of like G-Sync, FreeSync, maybe, you know, another company creating some type of proprietary technology. Maybe Intel will get into that game and they'll make something that, you know, we'll be able to see utilized. I know Intel has some graphics card coming. He said, for years, I drove the standardization of certain industries when I worked for Microsoft, which is interesting. His channel is called Bill's Channel and he worked for Microsoft. So I see what you did there. He said it was very hard, but when we were able to make very rapid overhauls of certain industries, leaving huge standards that were very feature rich. He said, this is the core of what Microsoft is about, but this has the extra hard component that Microsoft is not a bystander in the market. He said the latest Xbox management team went down and all AMD rode. And with it, they are no longer viewed as a bystander. He said AMD has a history of extra provisions in their deals, so don't expect any room for other players. Bill, I respect your comment as you left a lot of information on the table there, a lot of inside information that your average consumer won't look at. I love the fact that you are coming from a non-biased perspective, speaking that you work for Microsoft, and I personally invested in this technology so long I understand the Samsung and the Microsoft partnership. When you go into like the big box retailers, you're going to see Xbox displayed on a lot of these Samsungs. I bought a flagship Samsung some years ago. If I can remember what the model was, I'll put it in the description. But it was the first Samsung that had FreeSync, right? And I thought this was just like an amazing thing. I was like, man, this is great, bleeding edge stuff. But what it was missing for me personally was the ability to truly run at 120 hertz. Obviously, this was prior to the C9 coming to exist. However, as I was saying to your comment, it is very appreciated that you're sharing so much of your wealth of knowledge. And from talking to you prior, my man, I do understand that you used to work for Microsoft. So we locked in there. But if anybody has any feedback to his comments specifically, or, you know, the inner workings of how these things operate, you know, me being a PC gamer, my preference is that my TV of today offers me something that is going to give me an optimal experience for a PC, right? And this is why I enjoy the LG the most. It's just that simple. I could care less about anything else other than my experience. And when you buy a TV, that needs to be your same approach. Great comment, Bill. I appreciate you, brother. All right, this is going to sum up this comment video. I do want to take a brief moment just to speak about my opinion on the Alpha 95K dropping $500. I personally expected it. Like I said, you know, when a lot of times you're seeing a lot of these YouTubers comparing these TVs, it's great what they're doing. It's really good work that a lot of people are putting out, you know, offering, you know, their opinion. To me, when you get a TV, I just don't really feel like a person that has a TV for like a week can really offer like an optimal, hey, this is really better versus this, right? And so, you know, not just kind of promote my content as being better, not saying that. I'm just saying that that's why I don't really like to classify myself as like a TV reviewer. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, at some point, I like to get to that place where I learn more about calibrating and I can speak more about like the inner workings of the TVs. But I'm coming from a place of a consumer, and I'm talking about like upper echelon consumer, dude. Like, I know about my TV. I got an input lag tester. Like, I know about everything that I need to know about as to why I make my investments in these televisions, right? And so even with me getting the Alpha 95K, understanding that my C9 was going out, it was going out, and I understood that I was going to get some financial compensation from that TV to invest in this TV. But again, to my earlier point in this particular transition, the TV is now $500 cheaper in the 65 class. It hasn't been out a month. Like, it's been less than a month since you've been able to get this TV, right? And so to already see a $500 drop in price is really good. Now, the 55 class hasn't dropped. So now you have a decision to make. Do I want to just spend $500 more and get the 65, or just get the 55 at $3,000? If the 55 drops down to $2,500, I still think it's a great investment. Though I cannot personally recommend it as a gaming or PC TV, I don't really see why, you know, you want to spend $2,500 on that when you can get the C2, the G2, something like that, or S95B. Let me not even cap. S95B is in there definitely because the price is right and it's an amazing TV, definitely. But if you're the person that's still looking for the out of the box best picture quality, the Sony got it, man. The Sony got it. We can always take take a magnifying glass and look and see what imperfections a TV will have. But I don't want to get ahead of myself because we got some more content that's going to be coming. I just wanted to make sure that I spread that information and I got your comments read. So let me know what you think in the comment section below, understanding that next week, Monday, we're going to be reading more comments. And if you guys liked the video, leave a thumb up. And if you didn't like it, tell me what you didn't like. And if you have some feedback about some of the comments I responded to, please leave them down below. And I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. I got to get dressed so I can go make some paper. Peace. God bless. Max love.